people go on TV and say things. I'll give a personal example. Tamale Mirundi went on TV and said, I went to the central bank, I got 5 billion shillings in a cash, put it in my car, then the president called me and said, take it back. First of all, it is, I cannot believe that anybody in the world can do such a fake thing. You see? so I called NBS and said, listen, I don't mind this man saying bad things about me, but I mind that you provide him that platform, because as I respect NBS a lot, you owe your listeners and viewers a responsibility, a minimum responsibility. First of all, to call him to order, but two, also to correct this kind of information. Because so many people, respectable people out there who know this is a practical impossibility. What you see, you can project fake news that has a practical possibility. In this case, the guy was saying something that is practically impossible. You can't go to the central bank in Uganda and withdraw cash. So the fact that the traditional media organization does not feel such a sense of responsibility, from the owner to the news producer to all the people involved, scares me, because I don't believe that government is the best institution, but I think that traditional media can be the best ones because they can uphold particular ethical imperatives of truth and accuracy, fairness and balance. And that is what scares me, that the traditional media are now also becoming
sources of fake news.
Media, in which case purveyors of fake news. I don't mind a media organization, by the way, making a mistake. As a journalist and as a publisher, I have made many mistakes. But your inability to correct your own mistake, even when it's so obvious that it's blatantly false, that is what should be worrying us, and we ask ourselves, therefore, where are these platforms through which we can promote factual accuracy and media ethics? If it is civil society funded by donors, I'm suspicious of it. Now I'm becoming suspicious of traditional media. I am very suspicious of the government.
You see?
I don't trust academics.
Okay, you don't trust academics and everybody else, but how can we use technology, Andrew?
They may not address the concerns I have.
Okay, Andrew, I hear you, I hear you, Andrew, and I'm sure William is itching to say something about you not trusting academics. But how can we use technology to actually?
He was once an academic.
He still is.
Coming back.
Okay. But Andrew, what about the role of technology in fighting fake news?
You see, technology is a double-edged sword. Technology is the biggest weapon we can employ to fight fake news, but technology at the same time is also the biggest weapon in the hands of those who want to purvey fake news. In fact, without technology, fake news would not be, well, it would be spread. Remember, you guys are very young. Those of us who were born I was born in 1912. So in 1978, 79, I was 67, 68 years. Brother was 60. I was 66, 67 years.
You see? Okay, please let's stick to the truth, even including your age.
I was born in October 1912.
Okay.
So Idi Amin was brought down by fake news because there's something called Radio Katwe. Amin had blocked all forms of, he had his own fake news through Radio Uganda and Uganda Television and Voice of Uganda, which was the newspaper, which was Voice of Idi Amin. And Ugandans created an alternative platform for information, which was called Radio Katwe. Radio Katwe was not an institution, neither was it a form of technology. It was, for that matter, primitive technology. It was radio by word of mouth. A rumor would begin in Katwe, or wherever it started, although they call it Radio Katwe because most rumors started in Katwe. And it would spread across the whole of Uganda in no time, and it was taken as truth. But a significant part of Radio Katwe, I would even say maybe 80%, was always false. So Ugandans fought Idi Amin using false news, for that matter, fake news. And I'm therefore conscious of the fact that fake news may not always be a bad thing if you organize against the tyrant and the dictator. But technology can amplify fake news and spread it much more rapidly than the lack of technology. So if you ask me, yes, we can use technology to control, to manage fake news. If you're on Twitter and somebody has tweeted something wrong, we can use that technology to immediately correct the information. But equally, technology, now look at something called deepfake. Do you know deepfake? Deepfake is where the way I am speaking right now with you, somebody will go and manipulate my voice, reproduce my voice using software, and imitate my voice and video as if I'm saying something exactly different or opposite from what I'm saying right now. Then there is Photoshop. Somebody can go and manipulate a picture and create a story which technologically appears, or on the face of it looks true when it is not.
Okay.
I don't know whether any of the panelists there are aware of deepfake. Today, if you show me a video of anything, I will not believe it, because you can simulate a video of Yoweri Museveni saying, I am going to kill so-and-so, or Mwenda should be arrested, which is fake. And I wonder how, also using technology, we can combat that. And if
can I come in? Can I come in?
Yes, Sheila. I was just about to come back to the studio. Briefly, please.
Yeah, just briefly. I think that Mwenda and his old men of the clan need to be very fair to technology, because I think that what we get wrong, and I think I also heard the article the other day bashing people on social media as idlers, or I think that technology, we need to change how we look at technology and look at technology as a productivity tool. That for everything, for every negative thing on technology, there's like 3 times good things about it. And the deepfakes that you talk about, Andrew, there's now software that helps detect those deepfakes. We just need to get exposure. And that's what I was saying, that the only way to combat fake news is giving the power or educating the end users.
Thank you.
There's also software that helps you detect when they talk about you, Andrew, on Twitter or Facebook. Even if they don't tag you, you will get a notification and say, so-and-so is talking about you. And then you can go very quickly and retract or ask them to retract, or, you know, it has to be as prompt as possible, because now, because of the democratization of this information, everyone has the power. And indeed, there are tools to help combat some of this misinformation. We just need to be exposed to them. And perhaps the other thing we can help, or government can help us do, which partly has been done, is employing or deploying people in positions that actually have knowledge and understanding of these things, right? So I think that...
So they should not deploy 18 people.
Whatever we want to do, but the truth is, for every bad thing about technology, there's an equally good thing, and there's an equally good tool that is being, or that can be deployed to help combat this either deep fakes or, you know, whatever you can call them. That people actually need to know that when you receive a video on your WhatsApp, you can screen grab that video, put it in Google Images, and see that this video was taken in India, not Uganda, or that people are being burned to death, and they're claiming it is in Uganda, but it's actually in whichever other country. So we need to know, and I think that the purveyors of information, both good and bad, need to be equipped. Yeah, so government communicators, private communicators, journalists need to continuously be trained on some of this software. Yeah, social media listening tools. There's even, by the way, there are even tools that help you know when your name is mentioned on TV, not just social media. There are tools that will help you know when your brand organization is being mentioned on radio, right? So, but we just need to invest in some of these tools. I think that is the only way we can arm ourselves against fake news or, you know, malinformation.
Thank you, Sheila. That's brilliant. And I think that Carol, who works in digital platform, is attentively listening. And I think both of you are correct, really. Andrew also started from the point of view of technology can be a double-edged sword. It can do good things and it can also do bad things. But I wanted to come to you, Dawn. You have been a particular victim of technology in its bad way and in its good way. Please take this up.
Yeah, I think the view here is that this is always going to be a marketplace, really. There'll be competing ideas, and what I think we refer to as technology here is largely platforms. What we are saying is that maybe 20, 30 years ago, the only platforms we had was the print media, 1, 2 TVs, 1 radio, whatever. These have now grown, and on top of this, we now have these digital platforms now, social media and all these others. I wouldn't have an issue with the platforms, largely. I think ultimately it is the content. Now, Andrew, of course, did mention that some of this is information that people are creating to weaponize. I wanted to use a scenario. One of the things we're struggling with lately is people, for example, forging purported presidential directives from State House, and then they share them on WhatsApp. So you've seen all these letters doing the rounds. The president has ordered Nakalema to investigate, I don't know who and who. Like there's one which has been doing the rounds lately, and it's a fake document. Now, we must ask, in terms of regulation and even punitive action, what is the spirit of the originator of this kind of document? Luckily enough, like Sheila is saying, and unfortunately some people probably think it is not easy, but actually at times it is possible to trace the origin of these things. For example, the one who did this particular letter, we have traced him. He's a young man based in Masaka, and we're going to ask him what the spirit of this was, because this borders on criminality. We can talk of democratizing the space and whatever, but outright forgeries and then putting them out there in the name of the head of state, for example, has criminal intent to it. So we can discuss the people's, we talk about infringement on rights of speech and expression and whatever, but also there must be a question on motive. And that's why I mentioned earlier that you asked Carol about the public. The public must also be aware, especially those who intentionally generate this kind of information, that there could be repercussions. Let's not massage people to think that you can go forge a story that creates a stampede in town, leading to deaths and whatever it is, and you just go away scot-free because you have a certain right to creating information.
Yeah, and that's why I was asking earlier.